Dear learners, welcome to my video channel Learn with Joy. Now we are continuing our discussion on object-oriented programming concept and applications. This is part 2 video of my lecture series. Now let us see, we will discuss concept and applications through Java, BlueJ for editing, compiling and executing Java program. The curriculum is mainly based on ICSE class 9 and 10, and I am Supratim Chakraborty. My YouTube channel is Learn with Joy. Now let us see. The contents of this video is object, concept and example, class, concept and example, difference between procedure oriented programming and object oriented programming, and then 4 pillars of object oriented programming will be discussed. Now let us start with object. What is object? Object is real world entity, for example pen, chair, laptop, etc. An entity that has state and behavior is called object. As for example, flower. Flower have state like color, name, and it has behavior like bloom, smell, etc. Now let us see for the dog object. Dog object. For the dog object, it has state like color, name, breed, and behavior is eating, barking, etc. Now few more examples on object. Let us see one by one. House. House has state like address, area, behavior is open door, close door, etc. Car has state like brand, weight, and behavior drive, park, etc. Now let us consider a class human being. We may refer object here. Object human being, it has state like name, address, and behavior is speak, respond intelligently, can learn, etc. And there are two kinds of objects. Another two kinds of objects let I discuss, which is man and woman. And state and behavior is as same as human being. We have stated this example because the concept of inheritance will be applied here. A man inherits the properties of human being, women also inherits the properties of human being, etc. Now let I discuss about class. What is class? Class is a collection of objects. A class can be described as a blueprint that portrays about objects. A class is a group of objects that may share common properties. Finally, class encompasses everything in object-oriented programming. Now, object and class. If we see the relation, and together object is the instance of class. An object is the instance of class. Let's take human being as a class. A class is a blueprint for any functional entity which defines its properties and its functions, like human being having body parts, performing various actions, respond intelligently, etc. Classes and objects. There are some difference between classes and objects. And let us consider, we have depicted the example before. Class is human being and object man and women. Class. A class is a blueprint from which we can create the instance. As for example, objects. Whereas an object is the instance of the class, which helps programmers to use variables and methods from inside the class. And the second one is, a class is used to bind data as well as methods together as a single unit. This is also called encapsulation. We will discuss later on. Objects acts like a variable of the class. Classes have logical existence, whereas objects have a physical existence. a class doesn't take any memory space when a programmer creates one, but an object takes memory when a programmer creates one. A class has to be declared only once, but the objects can be declared several times depending on the requirement. Now let I discuss about the first Java program, which looks like this, and the syntax and semantics is here. Now we will discuss line by line. Now public class my class 1. Here public keyword is the access modifier. Public keyword is the access modifier. Class name is my class 1. Here the name of the source file should be myclass1.java. This is for compilation process. Now let us see the next line of statement, which is public static void main string args, where public is a keyword, the access specifier, and main is the main method. Static access modifier means we can call this method directly using class name without creating an object of it. Void simply tells the compiler does not return a value. That is, the main function does not return a value to the compiler. String args declares a parameter named args, which is an array of instance of class string. Args can take input from the command line, from the console. Now in the third line, this is the single line comment. Any statement started with 2 backslashes is should be treated as a comment line. And here if we see the system.out.print, or I may write system.out.println. System is a predefined class that Java provides us. It holds same useful methods and variables. Out is a static variable within a system that represents the output of your program, that is stdout. Stdout, what is stdout? Stdout is the console output. And print is a method of out that can be used to print a line, and the output of this program will look like this. Now the program description will discuss another time. This is public is the access specifier. Static is the access modifier. Void means the main function returns nothing, and the main is the method or function name. String args, it's a command line argument. It is a collection of variable in the string format. Now we may cite some example of classes. That is example 1. Here is the human being is a class, and public class human being, the class made public, that is it is accessible publicly, and in between the class we have to declare field properties and methods. Now let us see, create an object called my object, my obj, and print the value of x. How it is possible? This is public class my class, the class name is my class, and we declare and define a variable x, which is an integer kind of variable, and the value assigned is 6. Public static void main string args, which is as before, and my class my object, that is the here it is instantiate and a new my class. System.out.println my object.x. Now let us see how do we initiate multiple objects here. Now here is also class name is my class, and we initiate the integer x, define value, and 9 is the value. Here is myObj1 and myObj2 are the two objects has been created here, and after that we take a printout which is myObj1.x and myObj2.x. Now let us differentiate procedure oriented programming and object oriented programming. There is a clear differences between procedure oriented programming and object oriented programming. Now let us see. This is very important for basic theoretical knowledge on object oriented programming concepts. Now if I consider the key priority, then let us see that in object oriented programming more emphasis given on data including data security, whereas in procedure oriented programming more emphasis given on procedure and its structure. Approach. In approach point of view, object oriented programming follows bottom up approach, whereas the procedure oriented programming follows the top down approach. Now division. A program is divided to objects and their interactions, and in procedure oriented program a program divided into functions and they interacts. Inheritance is supported in object oriented programming, but there is no concept of inheritance in procedure oriented programming. Access control is supported via access modifier, and in procedure oriented programming no access modifier are supported. Encapsulation is used to hide data, whereas in procedure oriented programming there is no security about data. Data is globally accessible. And in the functionality point of view, in object oriented programming there is a concept of virtual function, and in procedure oriented programming there is no concept of virtual function. And operator overloading is allowed in object oriented programming, whereas there is no concept of operator overloading in procedure oriented programming. The functions of the objects are linked via message passing, whereas different parts of a program and interconnected via parameter passing. That is, the subprograms are passed values to the another subprograms by parameter passings. Object oriented programming concept is highly scalable, high code reusability, whereas the procedure oriented programming is low scalability, low code reusability. If we cite example for both object oriented programming and procedure oriented programming, we will look at this. There are some good programming languages for object oriented programming. First one is Smalltalk, C++, Java, Python, etc. Now in procedure oriented programming the programming languages are C, Pascal, Fortran, Basic, COBOL, etc. Now reference and further reading, you may read some good books available in the market. Java 2 the complete reference, Herbert Shield, and publisher is Tata McGraw-Hill. Now it is available Java 8 or Java 9. Object oriented programming with C++ by Emmanuel Balagurussamy and Tata McGraw-Hill. Then you may read my book Computer Application in a Nutshell Volume 1, and the resources have also been taken from internet. Now thank you, presented by Supratim Chakraborty. My YouTube channel is Learn with Joy. If it is helpful to you, then like and share. Thanks again.